I'm about to go on the craziest road trip of my life, where I'll be spending approximately 60 hours on the road. One of the things I have been thinking is, how do I have my bath if I'll be on the road for so long? Or if I am pressed, how do I get to use the toilet on a moving vehicle that's got no toilets? Come with me to Ivory Coast from Nigeria. Our journey started from Lagos to Ibadan, where we joined the Chief Laba International Transportation bus. It's one of the few transportation companies that goes straight to Côte d'Ivoire from Nigeria. At that time, the trip cost only 65,000 naira, but it's likely very expensive now due to inflation in Nigeria. We opted for this transportation company in order to avoid the hassle of switching buses at different countries. I know this kind of trip isn't for everyone. Spending 3 nights on the road might sound crazy to some people, but don't worry if you are not up for it. Be sure to watch this video until the end, as I'll be sharing 2 faster routes you can take to get there quicker. Trust me, there is more than one way to get to Côte d'Ivoire. First things first, let's talk about the documents we'll be needing on this trip. So we'll be needing the international passport and the yellow card. Make sure your yellow card has your yellow fever and meningitis vaccination properly documented, and make sure it's the real deal. A fake card could get you into some serious troubles at the border. Another important thing to have is cash, as you'll be needing cash for your border clearance procedures. At 4:40 p.m, our bus finally departed Ibadan, and we headed straight for the Idiroko border in Ogun State. It took us until midnight to reach the Nigerian border, where we began the first of many clearance procedures. Up next was the Benin Republic side of the border, where we got cleared almost immediately. After which we crossed into Benin Republic and kept going. By the next morning before 6 a.m, we got to Benin Republic and Togo border Ilakanji, which is the second border we're gonna be crossing. Now at this point, I was starting to feel like I need to freshen up badly, but I just had to brush my teeth, hoping I would get somewhere to have my bath much later. After we got cleared at the Ilakanji border, we headed straight to Lomé, which is Togo's capital city. And this was a long awaited stop for me to freshen up. We were taken to the public bathroom and it was a no for me. So I decided to wait and hope the next stop is way cleaner than this. While waiting, we had breakfast at the beachfront, and the driver was catching up on some sleep, getting ready for the next long leg of the trip. This stop in Lomé was our first real break, and it was nice to stretch our leg and check out the beach for a while. We got back on the road and reached the Aflao border between Togo and Ghana by 12:49 p.m. Ghana time. After clearing at the border, we hit the road immediately. So far, the border clearance was smooth, as the transportation company already has relationships with these borders. You already can tell this was going to be a long haul, straight through Ghana all the way to the Norway border. It wasn't until early the next morning that we reached Norway, making it day 3 on the road. Norway is the Ghana-Côte d'Ivoire border, and at this time we were all tired and exhausted, and everyone was looking forward to the final stretch of this trip. But just when we thought we were done with the border clearance, we got stuck at the Côte d'Ivoire border for several hours. We were already in the country, but they wouldn't let the bus go. Switching to public transport was not an option at all because of all the checkpoints after the border. And let's be honest, my friend and I don't speak French, so it would definitely be too chaotic for us. So we waited and waited until 4 o'clock when our bus was finally cleared. We finally drove into Ajami in Abidjan around midnight, and this was our 3rd night on the bus. And guess what now? We had to sleep in the bus again. But the exciting thing was that I got to finally shower after almost 4 days of not showering. It was a public bathroom and far from perfect, but I didn't care anymore, as this felt like the best shower of my life. Now, if you are thinking about taking this kind of road trip, here are a few things to note. First, let's talk about everything you need to know about the bus. The transportation company we used disembarked from their main park in Ejigbo, Osun State, and they pick people up in specific places based on the agreements reached. We joined them in Ibadan as they would be going through Ogun State and not passing through Lagos. Also on the bus, the transportation has about 5 to 6 members of their staff, which includes drivers, mechanics, and admin staffs. So it's safe to say the bus is good to go. However, the bus doesn't have AC, and aside from carrying passengers, this bus also carried a lot of loads. Of course, these loads didn't disturb us as they were kept underneath the bus. Despite the long hours of driving and the delays, the vibe on the bus was great, and the bus crew from the drivers to the mechanics were on top of their games. The 65,000 naira we pay initially does not cover our border clearance, so we spent about 8,000 sefa for our border clearance in total. Now let's talk about what to pack. Think of this like a plane where your main luggages would be kept in a different place entirely. It's important for you to have a hand luggage, and a tote bag or any other spacious bag works well for this. You might also want to pack a disposable underwear as you need a change of underwear anyway. And just in case you'll be using any of the bathrooms, you might also need to pack change of clothes. Consider packing lightweight clothing. Bring lots of snacks and water. For me, I brought about 4 liters of water, and I still needed to buy more on the road. And last but not the least, be prepared for the less than ideal public bathrooms on the road. It's all part of the adventure. I mean, how would you have stories to tell? But like I promised earlier, if you're not up for the 60-hour bus ride, here are 2 faster ways to get to Côte d'Ivoire. The first part is going to Mile 2 and getting to Cotonou from Mile 2. And then from Cotonou, you can use the STC bus that goes to Ivory Coast directly from Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So you might want to go to STC's website to check for their prices. And for them, you won't have to pay for your border clearance as it is already covered in the cost of your transportation fare. Then the second route is you might want to have to book GUO or GIG or any transportation company that goes to Ghana, as you get to Ghana on the same day. And all you would have to do is sleep in Ghana for the day and wake up very early the next morning to leave Ghana and head over to Côte d'Ivoire. That way you'd be spending about 48 hours or less. And of course, you can also use STC from Ghana to get to Côte d'Ivoire. Now the big question is, would I do this again? Honestly, yes, I would. And yes, maybe with the same transportation company, but of course not with this bus. I would need to do this 60-hour bus ride again with a bus that has AC and a bus that gets cleaned every morning, and maybe better public bathrooms on the way, but that is not feasible anyway. But yes, I'll do this again. And if this video has been helpful, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to this channel.